Okay, let's talk about property survey. Now, I'm not talking about a survey like, how did I do? A property survey is basically the layout of how the property boundaries are and how the structure fits within the property boundaries. So when a house is built, there's a survey that's done. Every lender is going to require a survey to make sure they understand what they're loaning you on this property. Making sure there's no encroachments or easements. Where are there any, utility easements or drainage easements? It's just going to show you how that structure or that house fits within those property boundaries. Now, a lot of times, if a person's been in a house a long time, they may not have the survey. It gets lost in just wherever. It could be at wherever. And sometimes if they've changed things on the property, they've added a pool or had a built onto the house. A lot of times that survey that they had is no longer valid. And so a new one would need to be purchased. So who pays for that? Well, that's again another negotiated thing within the contract. Who pays for the new survey? Well, what you could do as a buyer in a multiple offer situation is offer to, you know what, Mr. Seller, I'm going to buy a new survey for when I buy the house. That way, you don't have to take on that expense. The cost of a survey could be anywhere from $300 or $400 up to $800, $900, just depending on the property, the size of the acreage of the property, what type of survey it is, and so forth. So by you as a buyer taking on that expense away, from the seller, that's another thing that goes towards the seller and his bottom line, that saving him money makes your offer more attractive. A survey is definitely going to be required, not necessarily on cash deals. However, I highly recommend getting a survey on all properties, making sure there's a valid survey or at least understanding what the survey is. Now, I put an example of what a survey looks like here, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You want to make sure it's a current survey, that the nothing's changed on the boundaries. There'll be what they call a T47 affidavit that goes with the survey from the seller saying that as far as they know, nothing's changed on this survey with the exception of the following items. And then they'll list anything that's changed, whether a pool was added or a garage or an add-on to the house, or the fence line has changed or something like that. So the cost of a survey, if a buyer takes that on, again, that's another benefit you're offering the seller. So let's talk about next is a fairly minor thing, but again, it's a cost of the seller. That's a home warranty, or what we call in the industry is a residential service contract.